Hey y'all, so we finally made it to the first weekly wrap up of my whole little like makeup mashup Monday, makeup mayhem Monday. We still have not settled on a title. I need to do like a poll on my Instagram or something. That way we can finally make it official and have a title. So if you guys are like, what is going on? Then you probably didn't catch my two first videos. Yes, I just hit my hand. I'm playing it off. It kind of hurts. I'll go ahead and link one down below and go ahead and annotate the other above. Basically on Monday, actually I think it was Tuesday, but it was supposed to be Monday, I posted up a haul of several products that I picked up, both a little bit of PR, but mainly kind of drugstore products that I picked up from Ulta, a couple of websites, but overall a majority of them were drugstore products. And then 2 days later, I think it was Thursday, I got my days all mixed up right now. This week has been nuts, basically. And then I think Thursday, I uploaded the makeup look that I actually wore on Tuesday. This is ridiculous. Basically, I uploaded two videos. One was a haul, and then the other was my very first time using the products. But what I've been doing is using all these products consistently throughout the week. That way I could come back and give a thorough review rather than just having like a normal first impressions, just because, as I stated in the previous videos, I think it's helpful to use the products multiple times, use like as many of the shades that I can in each of the palettes, use them with different tools, different sponges, my fingers, my thumb, my pinky, you know, just really putting them to the test. And so that's what we're doing today. I'm coming in telling y'all what products are worth your dollar bills and which ones are just not even worth your time. So let's go ahead and start off on a positive note. This has been a product that I've really been looking forward to using every single day this week. In fact, I am wearing it again today on my eyes. This is from the brand Makeup Revolution, and it is the 𝗠𝗠 collab. 𝗠𝗠 is a YouTuber here, just in case y'all were like me and weren't too familiar. Her channel is Sophie Does Nails. I think Sophie Does Nails. I'll go ahead and link her channel down below. She actually had this collab as well as a second palette, but that one was more of a highlighting palette. I am interested in checking that one out. Several of you guys commented and messaged me on Instagram saying that you loved it. So I am curious about that one. But this is the 24 Ultra Professional Eyeshadows palette. So in my previous video, I did do a tutorial using this palette. For the most part, I tried using every single one of these on my eyes. There were a couple of dud shadows, but overall for the price point, I definitely think it's a product that's worth it. On my eyes today, oh no, here it is. It does come with a little plastic sheet. I am wearing the shade Petrol, which I was so excited to use just because in the pan, it reminded me a lot. I can't with these fingerprints. I know, so crusty. Because in the pan, it reminded me a lot of the MAC Blue Brown pigment, as well as, I know that there was a shadow from, what were those shadows that I loved? Was the brand just called Prestige that was sold at Ulta? I think they pulled it from Ulta though. I think it was like Hocus Pocus, something like that. But basically it's one of those kind of like turquoise brown shift shadows. That is what I have on my lids, but I added something on top. It doesn't look like this on its own, but it's another great affordable product. This is actually one of ColourPop's new Super Shock shadows in the shade Frog. But don't those two look so pretty together? I was really hoping that this one would have a little bit more dimension on the eyes. Oh, I just poked my nail in that. I hate that. While it is pretty, it doesn't have near as much of an intensity with a shift as the MAC one or the Prestige one. It still is a very pretty shadow. After applying it today, I did notice that it works best with your finger. That's how several of these shimmer shadows are. You either want a finger or a really nice kind of like dense shader brush that's spritzed with Fix Plus. I was really impressed by the matte shadows in here. Typically, it's pretty hard to find good matte shadows at the drugstore. Is the 𝗓, is it Mad for Mattes? I think there's like a volume 1 and 2. I believe I had the one. My chair is like one of those plastic ghost chair looking things. So when I move, it sounds like I'm like farting. I promise I'm not. It's the chair. But that one I felt like didn't have quite as many warm options as this palette does offer. The only shadow that I had lots of problems with is this one here. It's kind of like a very, very light type of taupey brown. I felt like there was zero pigmentation to that, whether I used my finger or a brush. It just didn't really do much for me at all. So let me go ahead. I mean, if I really rub my finger in it, it's just a very, very light sheer shade. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys some swatches of these other shades. Let's see. The purple wasn't too bad. The green wasn't the most pigmented shade that I've ever used, but still for the price point, I thought that the mattes performed great. Now, is it like the best eyeshadow palette that I've ever used? Definitely not, but still, it was still something fun to use from the drugstore. I looked forward to using it every day this week. So if you are on a budget and you're looking for like a nice assortment of colors that do overall perform pretty well. I definitely think that this one is worth it. I know the fingerprints are so gross. Now, I did pick up one other Makeup Revolution palette. This is the Reloaded Iconic Neutrals 2. Honestly, I thought that I was going to prefer this one over the 𝗏𝗏 palette just because when you look at the shades in here, I mean, it kind of gives you subtle like 𝗟𝗚𝗖𝗜𝗍 modern Renaissance vibes. Now, some of these shades do look very similar, like these three here, and I have to say, even on the eyes, they look pretty similar. There were several kind of duds in here. None of them got muddy, but they were the types of shadows whenever you applied them onto your eye. Whenever I went in to like diffuse a shade out into my crease, it would almost kind of disappear. Not completely, you'd have subtle like bits of color left, but then I would have to sit there and spend so much time building it back up. Only whenever I blended it out, it would just disappear. But it wasn't a shade that you could just leave there without blending. Does that make sense? But the shimmers in here, specifically this guy here, this is such a gorgeous, buttery, rich cranberry shade. I wore this all over my lid, and then I went back into the 𝗏𝗏 palette for some of the mattes. But check out that shimmer. Shimmers in here were better than the ones in the 𝗏𝗏 palette, but the mattes in the 𝗏𝗏 palette are better. But check these out. I want to say this palette was like $6 or $7. So honestly, like while you are kind of getting wasted space with some of the other mattes in here, check out those shimmer shades. I would never go back into this palette to use the mattes because they were just kind of meh. They took extra time and effort, which was really annoying, but the shimmers were so pretty. So once again, if you are on a budget, like I said, I think this was $7 to $9, and you're just looking for some like 4 really gorgeous not coppery, kind of like a berry tone shimmers. These are so pretty. It just sucks because the other ones did not perform quite as good. But I don't know. I guess you win some, you lose some. Okay, moving on. You know what? Let's go ahead and do a total dud product. This was probably one of the more expensive products in here, minus the actual, what was it? The MAC products I showed. But this is a drugstore product. It's the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Glow Nude Highlighter Palette. I got mine in 760 Moon Kissed. If you watch that tutorial, I mixed it with the Makeup Revolution liquid or liquid highlighter. Whenever I did that, it was nice, but that's because it had a base. I used this several times on its own. I applied it with a fan brush. I applied it with a fan brush with Fix Plus on it. I used a different brush, like a tulip shaped brush. I even tried a beauty blender. This just sucks. I'm sorry. It's powdery. Some of the shades are just super crumbly. This was really the only shade that was semi-decent, but it was a little bit too dark for my skin tone. I had to go in and like mix and match. But a lot of these are just powdery and crumbly. I mean, I've seen better highlighters from e.l.f. I know lots of people like those. Are they the $3 ones that you kind of have to like scrape off the top of, the baked highlighters? I have like a piece of fuzz or something on the side of my mouth. The baked highlighters, those definitely performed better than these. These were just overall like dry and crumbly. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your money, especially for 14 bucks. Just don't do it. It's not good. Okay, I do have 2 other highlighter palettes. I feel kind of bad mentioning these because I know that these do not release until I believe February 15th. They're going to be $39.50. They're from MAC. They are the Hyper Real Glow Highlighter. Oh, I was looking for that lash and I already threw the other one away. In my initial haul video, I was saying how I thought for sure I was going to gravitate towards this one, which was, oh shoot, I threw the actual box away. And I guess like the actual name of the palette was on the box. That sucks. I think one was like Getting something. I don't even remember what the names were. Basically, you have more of a bronzy gold toned version, and then, did I just say toe? Gold toned version, and then you have the rose gold one. Now, in that very first video, I was like, oh, I'm definitely going to love this one more just because I typically gravitate towards these champagne golden highlighters. This one is really pretty. And then here is the rose gold one. Whenever you look in here, these definitely have more of like a subtle pinky rosiness, and surprisingly enough, I prefer this one. Something about these seem like they just apply better. I don't know what it is, but in my opinion, it just seems like the formulation of these are slightly creamier. They definitely give you that really nice wet looking highlight glow. Oh, it's so pretty. So $39.50 for 3 highlighters. These are pretty darn pigmented. You don't need too much. I mean, you can definitely get carried away with them. Do I think you have to have them in your life? I mean, unless you're a highlighter junkie like me, then I mean, you could definitely pass on them if you already have a ton of highlighters. But if you're someone who's building on your highlighter collection and you know you have a preference of whether it's rosy gold or gold tone, I do think it's a good value. 3 MAC highlighters for $39.50. That's not too shabby. Okay, and then the other, and I guess final highlighter that I had shared in that first haul video, whoops, I had the Cover FX one. This was kind of a similar packaging-wise dupe of the Cover FX custom cover drops. I have mine in the shade Liquid Luminous Gold. Someone had messaged me on Instagram, and I'll have to go back and see what it was, but she had recommended another shade. She said that that one was way more pigmented. Not that this one wasn't pigmented. In fact, I feel like if you are a beginner with makeup, someone who tends to be heavy-handed, this would be a great product for you because it's something that you can build up, and it's not something where like you apply, you know, your first layer and you're just like, crap, I done messed up. I have like Tin Man cheeks. This is a very, very nice everyday glow that you can gradually like build up. So whether you want to be like, you know, a good everyday glow to a J.Lo glow, you can definitely build it up to that point. I have mixed it with my foundation a couple times, mixed in beautifully, didn't have any issues with like weird sparkles or anything in my face. It's just a very nice, healthy glow rather than an actual like glittery shimmer. You do get a ton of product. I think this one was $7 or $9, whereas the Cover FX one I know is in like the, I think I said $30 to something range. I can't quite remember, but yeah, I'll definitely continue to use this. I was very happy with that product. Okay, another product that honestly, this one blew me away. I didn't have the highest hopes or expectations for this product. In fact, I felt like I was even kind of whenever I first applied it. And then in the end, I was like, oh no, that did like wear pretty well. But I have been loving this. This is the Maybelline Tattoo Studio Brow Gel. I've been using it every day. I do have it on my brows today. Just like in that first impressions video, I'm still applying it the same way where I kind of go in and apply it from mid-brow to here. And then I go in and use a brow brush, like this Benefit one or any kind of like nice stiff angled brow brush you have. I use that to go in and kind of fill in the front of my brow as well as the tail end. Now on the PR pamphlet of this, it did say that it like lasts for 2 days. It has a true like tattoo brow effect. So I was curious. So on Tuesday, after I removed all my makeup, I went back in and applied my brows. I slept in them just to see, you know, what it would do if I'd have any like residue left on my pillow. My brows were still like exactly the way that they were the night that I applied them. So I did end up washing my face completely that day. So I didn't test the 2 full days, but I did get in the shower as well in the morning just to see. And they honestly did not budge. I had water on them. I could go like this and no product was coming off. I didn't have any weird like crumbly issues. Now it will come off if you were to get any soap on your brow or like cleansing oil, then it definitely does melt away. So it comes off when you need it to. But if you're just looking for a good like waterproof brow product, if you're someone who like has to wear eyebrows to the gym and you sweat a lot, or you have like a douchey boyfriend who's like, take her swimming on the first date, this won't let you down. Like your brows will stay in place. So I was really, really impressed by this. So 2 lip products. Let's go ahead and talk about this one first. I am wearing this on my lips right now. This is the Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink Liquid Lip Color. I'm wearing mine in the shade Seductress. I had mentioned in Tuesday's video that I know I was super late on the bandwagon to try this one. Overall, I really do like it. I'm actually wearing it with a gloss on top right now. The gloss is a little bit sticky, so I'm noticing like kind of a little bit of this webbing action. It does last all day long. It's transfer proof. It's a matte formula without making your lips feel overly matte. But if you do have any dryness on there, you definitely want to exfoliate first because it will pick those pieces up. Overall, I do like it. I feel a little bit bad because the other lip product that I tested this week kind of just stood out so much that maybe it kind of dulled down my excitement for this product. I do really like the fact that it's a matte formula that you can apply a gloss on top of, because sometimes with some matte liquid lipsticks, when you go in with a gloss, it either gets goopy or it just kind of like smudges and doesn't wear throughout the day evenly. This, I can put a gloss on top and it still just stays in place all day long. Obviously the gloss is still going to transfer, but once the gloss fades off, I'm still left with a nice solid color on the bottom. I do like the fact that it's kind of one of those like spade type doe foot applicators, but the Pixi Matte Last Liquid Lip Colors just blew me away. I know I already said that, but I was so impressed by these. I only have one negative thing to say about these, and it's the fact that they're not transfer proof. Whereas the Maybelline one stays on your lips all day. This is still a very long wearing formula, but like it will transfer onto your hand if you were to kiss your husband or your kid or drink from a straw. It does transfer off, but it's like the pigmentation in this is so rich where you're still left with color behind. It doesn't fully stain your lips, but I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's not transfer proof, but it doesn't all just like come off super easily. That makes sense, right? Plus their shade range is so, so pretty. I feel like sometimes some of these companies that release liquid lipsticks feel the need to like release every freaking color under the sun. It's like, I know there definitely are people out there who love like midnight blue and like dehydrated purpley prune colors. And I mean, if they look good on you, then I'm all for that too. But sometimes I'm like, can you spend a little bit more time on just some of the more like wearable colors? Pixi put out some freaking bomb colors. Honestly, out of these 5 shades here, there was really only one that I wasn't as crazy about. While it's still pretty, it's not one that I would wear as much as these 4 here. These have been on constant rotation in my purse, on my vanity. I love them so much. It's easily one of the most comfortable liquid lips I've worn in such a long time. If you're looking for a matte formula, but you hate the feeling of an actual matte liquid lipstick, this would be the way to go. So here is 𝗚𝗏𝗓𝗏. See, it's still definitely a pretty color, but it just has a little bit more coral in it than what I prefer. This one here, matte beige, I adore. Another thing that I love about this product is the actual applicator. As you can see, it has a really nice flexible quality to it, and the actual like diamond type of spade shape makes it so easy to really go in to like the contours of your lip. There is matte beige. The undertones of like every single one of these shades is just a very, very flattering color. This one here is called Really Rose. Like, look at these. Aren't they so pretty? I'm telling you, the formula is so comfortable. It is a little bit more expensive, especially for a product at Target. It's $14, but the quality of it makes it worth it. These last 2 here and matte beige are probably my top 3 favorites. So let's see. We have, which one are you? Evening Rose and then Pastel Petal. Look at those. They're just such pretty colors. I think they'd be suitable for school, for work, whether you're a stay-at-home mom. Like, it's just such a pretty shade range. I love them. I highly recommend them. I think you would definitely be happy with them. So out of everything that I tested this week, these 2 were definitely the MVPs. I just was so, so happy with them. There were other great products in here like the MAC palettes and then the Soph palette, but something about those 2, I'm just like, yes, like I love when you find a great product that just works and fits right into your routine. So I'm sure you'll be seeing one of those, if not both of them, in a upcoming monthly favorites. So yeah, that wraps up this week's products. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know down below if you guys are still wanting to see more of these series. I don't know if it's going to be something that we do every single week because that might get too repetitive. I don't know. Let me know. I mean, I would be happy to because I'm definitely a product junkie, but I'm thinking maybe like combine the actual haul portion and the first impressions into one. That way we just have that video and then the weekly wrap up. Does that make sense? Let me know your thoughts down below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you happen to enjoy this video, definitely give me a thumbs up. And if you guys would like to see more, I would love it if you subscribed, join the fam. And yeah, I hope you guys all have a great weekend and I will see you in the next one. Bye.